Hey guys, we're live on the moon, and it's a Wednesday evening, and I've decided to continue with my exploration of the moon and let you join me in high adventure, searching for moon bases, strange creatures, UFOs, and all things abnormal. If there's something abnormal up there, old Bill's going to find it. That's for sure. If you're just joining me for the first time, I welcome you to my Moon Musings. It's my chance to muse with the moon, or Saturn, or Venus, or the sun, or whatever I'm musing at. Tonight's a little different. I put a date stamp on my video to make it clear when it was recorded. I told you over the last couple nights that I was having a very, very difficult time with the infamous blue screen of death. And I tried some software that Mike had. I couldn't. I've been having all kinds of problems with controlling the telescope from the computer with the focus control. I want to blame the focus control, but right now I'm blaming the package called Next Remote. The focus control was written, isn't that beautiful? I really think that this is something. This is not the first quarter. This is the waning Gibbons moon or something like that. I'm going to learn all these fancy names. I know Gibbons is a part of it. Wherever in the hell they got Gibbons, I don't know. But it's kind of like the first phase of a phase, and you can see barely a shadow line right there. And we're going to follow that shadow line all the way to the bottom. And then we are going to explore the bottom part of the moon, which I seem to have neglected yesterday evening. In any case, I was having mucho difficulty, and let me change this rate. I have it on 3. I'm going to change it to 2. And wind's still blowing, guys, so if you see it move, okay, see the increments are slower. That's going left, and that's going up, that's going right, and I'm having a hell of a time going down. Let me change it back to 3. There's certain things about this that I don't understand. Maybe if one of you guys are familiar with the XR 8 SE, tell me why it doesn't go down on rate 2, and sometimes it doesn't go down on rate 3 every once in a while. I don't know what the deal is, if it's just the clock works is tied up. Anyhow, I'm learning. Well, this evening I decided I'm not going to have the blue screen of death. I have my focus control on there, and I got my camera control, but I took that next remote off. Now, isn't that beautiful, guys? Look at all those little craters, and I want to show you something. What do you see right there? Looks kind of like an X, guys. X marks the spot. Maybe that's where one of those Genesis 6 fallen angels buried his treasure. See, there's something right there too, and it looks like that's another X too. I tried to do the Barlow, but I just couldn't make it work. I'm not very good at this yet. Now there's a moon base. Look at that. Right there. See that thing sticking out? That's a telltale sign that that's a moon base. Or it's something abnormal. Some of them have these little things in the middle, and some of them have them where they stick up and they look like they're radar antenna or something. And my contention is that these that stick up way high, kind of level with the rim of the crater, are something that was built by fallen angels on the moon. Remember when the Genesis 6 giants roamed the land? Did you ever hear of the mythologies of ancient Greece and all these heroes renowned and men of old? Well, there's a little truth in everything, and it's my contention that the fallen angels had sex with the female population. Now this looks like a city. This looks like an alien city on the moon. Let's just stop right there and look at it. Just look at all this stuff, the structures, all these pipes and tunnels. Looks like tunnels to me. See how they go from one end of the complex to the other? And then see over here, there's detailed structure that would probably come out in the Barlow, but there's something there, guys. There's something there. Not sure what yet. And look at this strange thing. See how it's wavy? That's not the wind. That's the heat, the radiated heat in our atmosphere, and between here and the moon, just see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little fingers, and kind of like a crater, and then in the middle there's something, probably a building or something. Very, very, very interesting, guys. And look at this crater here. See, this crater to me looks like it has something on the end. It's not perfectly round like the others. Could be just an optical illusion. And see, this is not normal. See this curvy like pipe? Strange stuff on the moon. Way strange stuff on the moon. Anyhow, when the fallen angels came down in Genesis 6, the Bible says that they took on them wives of women, humans. And when you have an angelic being have sex with humans, what comes out is a giant, Nephilim. And that was one of the main reasons why, look at this. This has got to be some kind of a complex. That's one of the main reasons why the Lord decided to destroy the earth with water. And Noah built an ark, and he and his family was preserved. Now look at this, another base up there. Not sure if it's like a radar complex or it's a landing pad for saucers, or who knows what it is. Now look at this before I move. This is really strange. See right there? It's kind of like a pipe coming out of the ground and going back in. And there's another thing in the middle of a crater, like it's a moon base. Well, if you want to learn more about the Genesis 6 giants, all you got to do is pick up the book of Enoch. I know it's not part of the Bible, but Jesus quoted Enoch. Oh, now we're getting into some neat stuff. Jesus quoted him in Jude. I think it's a fascinating read. I've read it about 5 times. And it talks about the giants in the land. It talks about the fallen angels, how they came down on Mount Hermon with 200 of their leaders. And that was the beginning of the angelic conflict when Satan fell from heaven. And what happened after that? Well, basically they got kicked in the butt. And I think that what they did is they took their act and went to the moon and went to Mars and did a lot of rousing destruction. Doesn't that look like the rim of the Grand Canyon right there? It looks like it goes deep. These are some fabulous pictures, guys. Fabulous pictures. What in the hell is that? It's probably just the light. See the light there? Probably just the light. I sometimes, in my enthusiasm about what I see on the screen, like I think I saw a shadow zip across the screen before, and I've been thinking about that's probably not a UFO. That's probably just a bug. Now look at this. This looks like a bird standing on one leg. See the head and the body, barely 2. We're still working our way down the shadow line. So when the Lord mentioned, as in the days of Noah, so it shall be when the coming of the Son of Man comes again, and the period in which we live is rife with all of this stuff. I mean, we got transhumanism, we got mad scientists messing around with things they have no business messing around with, trying to marry animals and man, trying to make super soldiers. Our government's up to its armpit in evil with all this stuff, and then on top of all that, they make an alliance with the fallen angels. I mean, I've been wondering. I believe myself that Mystery Babylon is the United States, and it will be destroyed in 1 hour, as it says so in Revelation 17:18. And I wondered why the angels cheered so much when it was destroyed. And I think that I know the reason, finally. I think that the reason is basically because we are probably one of very few countries that have actually signed an agreement with the fallen angels. Now look at this. This is weird, guys. Weird, weird, weird. I've been thinking about fallen angels all day. Don't mind me. I'm up here looking for them, and then I dream about them. This looks like, I know it's not, but it just looks like the head of a dog. Now see the floppy ear right there? See the ear? See the two eyes? See the nose? See the mouth projecting with the tongue hanging out? Isn't that weird? The head of a dog. Wow. And look at the kind of explosion marks from, I guess, this crater up here. You can see that come out. And the moon, I'm looking up at it, it's still kind of like a harvest moon. It's not bright yet. That's why we have this kind of haze. That's probably why the Barlow didn't work. The Barlow works best on a very, very bright. There's a bug. That's not a UFO. That was a bug. And we're working the circumference right now. And every time you go up and look at this moon, you see something different. And see all these points of light, lots of light up there. Lots of light. So one of these days we're going to be just looking like this, and something's going to come up off the surface that will clearly be a UFO, a saucer, or some otherworldly vehicle. And you'll know it, and I'll know it, and hopefully I have it all recorded. I remember looking at this from the bottom at a different angle, and it looked like an octopus, and sitting next to it a clam. See how things look different every time you look at them. Look at the color, man. And look at this. Beautiful, beautiful. Kind of blue, then it rolls in. It's just a riot of color, guys. Riot of color. I think the Lord kicked the fallen angels off the earth for a period, and they made themselves a camp on the moon. And we have, look at this. It looks like it's beautiful. See the lights? I think they are lights. I don't think they're craters. I think they're lights. Maybe each one of those is a base. And I think that we have Americans up on the moon this very moment. And on Mars. Doesn't that look like it's just sticking right out of the ground on kind of a pedestal, that hornet nest kind of crater? Don't you get goosebumps just looking at stuff like this, guys? Absolutely stunning. Looks like you're on a jet, you know, flying way above the clouds and then looking out the window. And in this case, it's a spaceship, and you're looking out the window of your spaceship portal at the moon because the image is so clear. The other reason that I've decided I'm using this control directly with the telescope now. I'm not using any, the movement software is being controlled by the hand controller. It's working fine. I'm going to use it for a while. Every time I have a blue screen and I have to put that material together and splice it with another movie, and then what it does, it re-renders it, and when it re-renders it, you always lose detail. See, I take these files right here, I'm recording them as WMV files. These are Windows files at high resolution, raw files, and I found that I can actually upload those raw files to YouTube, and YouTube will take them and suck them in and convert them into HD. So you are getting I'm not rendering or re-rendering or doing anything to the files before I send them, but sometimes I had to whenever I was having problems. And it takes a long time too, and you're always going to degrade and lose something. So I try to send up raw data. Look at that. That looks like a toadstool, doesn't it? You got the stem, and then you got the cap. This really is a high adventure. This is exciting stuff. You know what this looks like? This looks like that crater we were looking at that was on the top of the moon last week, with two craters on the rim of it, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like there's 5. I can see more craters now, but I think that one was the one that and if that's the case, then our mushroom forest will be right over here. Let's go right over here and see if we can see it. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely. Look at the way, and look at all the, I mean, just hundreds, thousands of craters. You can see them. I mean, you can see them clearer here than I've ever seen them before. The light, the shadow, and everything just. Yeah, it looks like that right there was part of our mushroom forest, and there's our mushroom right there and right there. If you stick with me in my videos, you'll see I'll get better at this as time goes on. And eventually I'm going to get brave enough to try different things. I wanted to mention something else. Mike and I are working on a project together. We're trying to I say invent's not the right word, but we're trying to develop an interface for a camera to a telescope that will give us a 10 megapixel camera. I'm going to go straight across this time. I'm going slow because I just want to kind of look at it while I'm talking. A 10 megapixel camera with autofocus and auto zoom, and we're getting Mike's involved in a lot of things. Anyhow, we're building us a unit or 2 or 3 that will allow you to take regular lenses, preferably the ones with the big eye aperture that are designated as being easy on the eyes, not the little small ones, but it'll work with both. And then you can use this camera with all your lenses. Looks like a guy sticking his head out of the water, a scuba diver. and we've been talking about it quite a bit. No, we're not going to be selling them at all. I mean, we might arrange for somebody to sell them, you know, but we're not involved in any of that stuff. And what's interesting is I'll be showing you some of the experiments that we do with that new camera when I get it in. Now look at this. This is one of my favorite spots on the moon. Sometimes when you look at this, it looks like it's a dome, a plexiglass dome. And now it doesn't look like a plexiglass dome as much as it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stalks. They're probably hornet nest craters that's sticking way up in the air with lights on the top of them. Now that's really something to see. And then you got the kind of like the sea, the ocean. Did you ever see the movie The Thing? One of my favorite movies of all time. It takes place in the Arctic, and there was this flying saucer that crash landed underneath a sheet of ice, and then they did some things and aggravated it and blew a hole in it or whatever, and then the thing came out and started raising Cain. Every time I see this, it reminds me of that flying saucer underneath the sheet of ice in the movie The Thing. I don't know when the tribulation's going to start. It hasn't started yet. But I can tell you one thing, when it does, Satan's going to have full reign over the earth. Something he has not been permitted to have ever before. And he will be so deceitful. He is so smart. Satan is probably, Jesus Christ personally created Lucifer. I think it's a son of the morning star, the most beautiful creature ever created, and the smartest. And he is so smart that even the very elect are going to be deceived during the tribulation. The very elect are going to be deceived. He has something planned that is so far out, it's going to blow your mind when you finally realize what it is. There's my calico cat. And I think that one of the things that we're going to see, the Antichrist in cahoots with these fallen angels. Big time. Flying saucers flying all over the place. You say, well, I'm out of here. I'm going to get raptured out. I don't have to worry about that. Well, you might be, but then again, you might not. I think the bottom line is no man knows the day or the hour. And you might be stuck on earth for a good long while before you ever get raptured out. So you might have to endure a lot of suffering. Who is the Antichrist targeting during his reign of terror? Christians. Who's he putting the mark on? Everybody. And if you don't have the mark, you can't buy or sell. That is one of the most beautiful scenes right there I've ever seen. I believe in the rapture. I just don't know when it's going to happen. And I'm kind of thinking it's later rather than sooner. But the bottom line is, no matter when it is, you should be preparing for times of trouble. It's just prudent. I said yesterday on my video, be prepared. It's just prudent to get ready for the crisis that seems to be coming. Jesus Christ said it's going to be as in the days of Noah. Well, Noah, he wasn't delivered from destruction, he was delivered through destruction. Now look at that. That looks like a perfect plexiglass dome, complete with reflection. It's probably not, but it's kind of fun to imagine it is. You have to admit, old Bill, he's got a very healthy imagination. And it looks like that's kind of like a big old rock sticking up. You know, the other thing I think that we got coming down, I mean, I think we got coming down like right across the street next week. Who knows when, but I think that the Gog-Magog battle of Ezekiel 38 and 39 is going to be fought. I've always thought it's going to be fought prior to the tribulation. And guess what? They're getting so set up for that. Unbelievable. And you don't think that war that they're going to fight is going to happen? Well, I tell you, just read your Bible. It's going to happen. Every word in the Bible is going to be fulfilled. Every word. According to my Bible, settle down. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of weird. It's kind of a curve. According to my Bible, whoever starts that war, the king of the north is Russia, and it says the leader gets hooks in the jaw. What's that mean? That means that he is going to be driven to go against Israel for whatever they did or for whatever reason. The Lord's going to put it in his mind to do it. And he is going to bring his army down through Turkey, Syria, and what will look to be a hopeless situation into Israel. But at the last minute, it says sulfur and fire rain from heaven. It might be an earthquake, it might be something, but it's going to completely destroy the Russian army. I believe on the Megiddo plain. I personally believe that war is going to be a nuclear war. They're going to be popping nukes all over the place. And if you think that we in the United States are going to be isolated from that nuclear war, you're crazy. We've got so many enemies in the world right now. Do I think that nuclear war will destroy the United States? No. I don't think that at all. But I do believe that Gog-Magog battle is going to be a nuke war. Why do I believe that? Because it says that Damascus, read it in Isaiah, it says that Damascus is turned to sand and glass. The only thing that can turn Damascus into glass is a nuclear explosion. I think there's going to be a lot of prophecy fulfilled in the Bible in the next 6 months. And if you really knew what was going to happen, like I think I know what's going to happen, I think you would probably be living your life a little bit different and getting prepared in ways that you might not consider right now. And why do I dwell on the fallen angels? Well, because they're very real. And for the Christian living in this period, they're going to be public enemy number one. Now, the ones that take the mark and get sucked into all that other stuff, they're kind of already in the ponds of the hands of Lucifer. But there are going to be remnant of believers during that period that are going to be around. Now, does the rapture take place before then? Wouldn't it be nice if it did? Look, but do you really know when it's going to take place? Look at that. That's an eye. It's an eye. The eye of Cyrus from Egypt. Speaking of which, Egypt, all these little stories in the Bible that you kind of seem to forget what the purpose of them was. Joseph was given a mission. He became prime minister of Egypt. And he was given a vision of a drought, a period of 7 years when the country of Egypt wouldn't have any food, wouldn't have anything. So what he did is he basically filled the granaries, got cattle. I mean, he did everything in his power to get ready for the 7 years of trouble. He didn't just throw down the towel and say, "Well, Lord, I don't want to go through this stuff because I'm out of here." No, I mean, you don't know what mission you have in life and what your purpose is in life. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a mission. In the Bible, there's such a thing as called type and anti-type. The type for the story of Joseph was the lesson of preparation for a period of 7 years whenever everything's pretty tough. The anti-type, get ready for the tribulation because you don't know when you're out of here, and you better be ready come what may, because that was the whole purpose of that lesson about Joseph. Now look at this, very, very unusual. It looks like a mountain, but it's not a mountain, guys. It's just, there's a mountain range in there. You can see the crater and the blast going through it. Just, you get these strange effects that really, really look cool. You know what I mean? Am I ready for all this stuff coming down? I don't think anybody can really be ready. I'm as ready as I possibly could be, but I mean, the most important thing is you better be ready spiritually You better be ready spiritually for what's coming down. And you say, well, I'm not going to be worried about that because the Lord's going to take care of me and I'm not going to be here anymore. Well, do you really know that? Part of the problem with churches today is they aren't really teaching the Word. And believers don't think that they're going to be prone to suffering. Well, believe me, that's when when we suffer as Christians, that's when if we really suffer with as the Lord would want us to, like Job, then we glorify Christ. It's a witness to Christ. It's a testimony to Him. I don't think the Lord's going to protect you from everything. I mean, go back to the days of Noah. I mean, the only ones that were protected were the people that were in the ark. Everybody else, they got caught up in the flood. The Lord's going to protect a remnant for sure. But just because you're a believer doesn't mean you're not going to go through suffering. I guarantee it. You got to pick up your Bible tonight, and let's go south from here. I'm fixing to close this up. Pick up your Bible tonight and read the most amazing story I've ever read, and that is in Revelation 12, where it talks about an astrological symbol. And you say, I don't believe in astrology. Well, back in the days, in the early days, that's how they had these. They used the stars to teach Bible lessons, and they told stories. And that's exactly what we have here. We have a story being told in the stars. And on the 29th, exactly, we have a wonderful picture of a constellation being fulfilled as was explained in the Bible. The 12 stars in the tiara. Ellen coming is actually going to be right in that tiara and part of that crown. The chest of the sun, and we got Venus and Saturn and Jupiter at the belt, and at the feet we have the moon. The only time in history that will be ever fulfilled is on September 29th. That has a huge meaning. What exactly, I don't know. I'm guessing it's going to be the start of the trumpet judgments. You say, well, Bill, they occur at the end of the tribulation. Well, that's what I always thought. But there's no... If you read Revelation, everything's kind of a hodgepodge of order. There's no order. Just read your Bible. Get right with your God. If you're not a Christian, you get down on your hands and knees and believe in Jesus Christ. And in 1 second in time, you're going to be saved, and you'll be saved forever. Because you're not going to survive what's coming without Jesus Christ at your side. That's for sure. What a wonderful, wonderful evening. Such a beautiful sight. And that's as good a time as any to close it up. Like I said last night, Boy Scout motto, guys, be prepared. Be prepared for the unknown. Clear skies, guys.